Doom needs to be a problem, and I think it starts with him staying in his mask for sure. Here's the big question: how does Doom get presented in the MCU? Because there have been grumblings, rumors, forums, just chatter right around the water cooler of people being like, the best Doom is the Doom that's masked. The Doom that is full costume, green, metallic. I know Alex Ross has some very beautiful art of Doom. If you don't know what we're talking about, check that out. Hero Scroll, what's the presentation for Doom? What's the feel for him in the MCU to really quickly establish him as that Thanos level character? If the MCU ultimately does decide to position him as the true final big bad of the multiverse saga.
He should definitely be masked. The only the thing that I have personal trouble with is that knowing how both Secret Wars comic events play out, both of them do have plot points that are a big deal about him having his mask off. So it's kind of hard to say, even though both he has it off in different ways. In the original, he's a lot more handsome. In the new one, in the newer one, he's disfigured. But it ends with him being restored. So it's hard to say. But ultimately, having him mask on, full costume for a majority of his MCU time, and then towards the end of it, have him be unmasked, or maybe at some point in the middle, them show his face if it's disfigured or not. I think it should be. And then later on, you pay that off with, him again taking it off and it being a big deal. It should feel like a moment when he takes that mask off. And it shouldn't just be a here it is just because. That would not fly, I think. And it shouldn't be what the first two Fantastic Fours did. Well, Fantastic Four and then Fan Four Tastic, where it's like the big feel is the end when he has the costume on. No, that's not what we want. We want it the whole time.
What's your preference, Spider-Man?
I was gonna say I wanted it the whole time. I don't care who plays Doom, even if it's like someone that has such a great face and like they want their face showing all the time. I don't care. Put that mask on. Like, we need intimidation out of these freaking villains. And if you got Doom without a mask and like hood still, it just looks like an Assassin's Creed character. I want Doom. Like, I don't want just no cape. Like, you got like Shazam out there with the cape, or with the hooded cape. Got all the Assassin's Creed people with the hooded cape. Like, nah, give me Doom and metal mask and tease out like how he needs it, because it just fits his character and like drive so much more to understand him. And I don't even know much about Doom, to be quite honest, but from like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and all that, if he didn't have his mask, I probably wouldn't have been freaking wouldn't be as intimidated by him.
But I mean, listen, one, it's super iconic, right? I mean, all of us collecting Funko Pops, and you see Doom, and you're just like, I need that. You see God Emperor Doom, you're like, I need that, right? That whole look is so iconic, and I think for where Marvel's at and the MCU is at right now, to Hero, to your point, and kind of the start of what you were saying, Brando, that feel that they did in previous Fantastic Four films of him getting that at the end, you take that feel and start and run with it, right? I think that there was a world back in 2020, 2021 where people are like, hey, Latveria hasn't been introduced yet. Is he going to be an ambassador? Are they going to show him as that handsome type of figure and character? But underground. He's been Doom all the time type of thing. That time is gone, right? In the most impactful way is definitely to have that mask and to have that voice. And for me personally, I don't think that there should be a big name actor who does want to write in their contract, hey, show my face all the time. I need that face time, because we know that the MCU loves to have masks off for all their characters. Secret identities are just useless. Shout out to James Gunn and trying to protect those from DCU. But it's time for this big bad to not talk all the time, to be masked up, to have an iconic look, and to have something that's symbolic, so when our heroes see this character, there's some sort of emotion where you're just like, damn, that's Doom. Like, that's the thing. Like, Doom needs to step over bodies. Doom needs to look good, sound good, have all the powers, mystical to just physical specimen. And I hope that he isn't just second fiddle to the Fantastic Four moving forward. That is another like weird thing that I have. I want him to feel slightly separated, but I know he's very intertwined. And if they can work that he's, I mean, I don't really know how they would work it if he's related to Kang. Shout out to actor choice and skin color, if I'm being honest with you, based on what it looks like. I don't know how that relation is going to be pulled off, but Doom needs to be a problem, and I think it starts with him staying in his mask for sure.
Okay, to the
0.3 certified.
It gets
0.2 certified, maybe.
Wait, you said
What's Hero got?
earlier?
No, I it is 0.3 certified.
Okay.
Mine's a different question though, and it does kind of have to deal with the presentation. Where does he come out in? Right, where is his first big debut? Because that's going to be a huge. There we go. That's going to be a huge part of his presentation. Is when we first see him. So if you guys were to pick a project, where is he coming out in for you?
Pretty early Fantastic Four.
In what capacity?
Yeah.
Towards the end.
What would feel really good to you?
I want Fantastic Four to be more of like an origin onto how they got their powers and fit into the MCU. And kind of like facing their own challenges, and then them being confronted with a challenge like Doom towards the end, to them then want to reach out to try to find other people to help stop them for Doom, and then that kind of sets up him being the big bad for like future projects. So I feel like that would be the best way to like want the Fantastic Four to feel like a team, and I feel like they need to go through like their origin kind of together and team build them up to be for the masses, for the MCU, to show that Marvel cares about its first family. And they can't do that if they have the whole movie focusing on Doom and like them just trying to cliche like beat bad guy type movie.
Yeah.
So I like it at the end, not like post credit scene end, but like setting up like final fight, and then we don't really know where it ends type movie, and like the Fantastic Four needs help. That would be pretty cool.
I like that.
SB. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you where would you put him?
To be honest, I think to kill 5 birds with one stone, he would be my post-credit scene in the Fantastic Four specifically, because I think most people are anticipating that he's going to show up there at some point, some way, somehow. So the anticipation for Doom to be seen on screen would be big, and it would be a big movie during a big time, and it would be a massive sledgehammer to DC. I think to kind of that's going to be the talking point coming out of it. The movie itself plus Doom. But for me, I envision for them setting up Doom to be big. It's short and sweet. And the first piece you would see, I think you see him sitting on a throne. He has his mask. It's more of a faceplate to me whenever I see him. You get shadows, so you don't fully see it, but he is scarred on one side of his face. So you can't really make out who it may be. No actor, none of that kind of crap, right? No words, nothing. He puts his mask on. It fits to the rest of his kind of skeleton from that standpoint of whatever he's been hardened with. And you see him with monitors or screens in whatever way, whether that's read screens that they showed in Multiverse of Madness, but it's almost like he has tabs on every single Avengers level character in the MCU. And he's watching everyone. Not a watcher standpoint, but it's heroes and villains put together. It's just time in that way of them fighting to give kind of like a hint to a battle world type of thing. And then you see him use some sort of green mystical powers and he goes into a portal and he's gone. Movie cuts to black. And I think it showcases who he is, what it looks like, his overall scope of being a big bad, of looking at that. Plus, you get tech and mystical aspects of his character all in literally like 20 seconds. And just let fans speculate. That's it.
I like
That would be wild. I really like that. You gave me another point to my theory, though, and just to tie it back into Kang. What if you see him teleporting to... what if we just, in said post-credit scene, you see him having, like, tabs on Kang, and then just him potentially killing off, like, the main Kang. And then, boom, that's where they end Kang's storyline. Will suck, because obviously you gotta wait a whole year for that, especially if we know today that they're trying to move away from it. But
if they wanted to send a message to the fan base that they're moving on from King, 100% I'd have Doom be that person who cuts those ties.
yeah, that would be freaking
and just
nuts.
It's not, it's not a passing of the torch, it's a taking of the torch of like you're not, you know what I mean? Like you're nothing. Like
You're not that guy.
I'm Doom. Yeah.
I'm
You're not that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like an I'm him moment for sure.
Yeah. And that's what Doom needs. And I think that's what we're all trying to say in different theories and ways. He needs that, you're looking for this moment, but it's more like, boom, you're looking for him, I'm him.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah. There you go. Gotta change his name from Dr. Doom to Himothy. So yeah, that's what he needs. I'm so glad you were able to preface that meme.
That's so amazing.
You did it so flawlessly.
So much.
Dude, so flawlessly. Hats off. Really quick before we end it, I'll say mine. I think that Fantastic Four is going to be a movie that kind of explores where they've been, why they've been missing from the MCU. And I think Doctor Doom has to be included in that, but he's not in the movie. I think at the end of the movie, the Fantastic Four are back, they're home, be it in the future or whatnot, wherever they are. And they get a visitor. It's Doctor Doom. And he visits Reed specifically. And obviously, because they hate each other, I say they need that rivalry from the get-go. They need to hate each other. Reed, throws a punch at him or whatever after they've talked, but it's a Doom bot.
Oh.
Then movie ends, right? Later on, I'd say in something like Thunderbolts. Well, no, not Thunderbolts, because that's before. Something later on, Midnight Suns, let's say. He visits, I don't know, Kingpin or Daredevil, and he's like, hey, I'm watching you. I know what you're doing. They destroy that. It's also a Doom bot. He's not liking what people are doing, right? You just play it out. You just let it go. You let Kang be the big bad. And then they've beaten Kang. They're celebrating their victory on the battlefield in Avengers Secret Wars. The sky opens up, or a portal opens up. Out comes God Emperor Doom, the
Yo,
real controller of the multiverse. And Reed had found out that it wasn't Kang who was in charge. It was Doctor Doom this whole time. God Emperor Doom. By the way, your final fight in Secret Wars is all the Avengers and Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom wins. And he resets the MCU.
yes.
And your next saga is them trying to go through it. But only one person remembers the events
Who
of
is it?
Secret Wars. I'd say Reed.
Yeah.
You have Reed sound like a crazy man preaching about Doctor Doom, who is someone nobody else remembers, trying to get them on board that he's who they have to go after. I think that's how you end it, and that's how you present Doom for the first time officially. I think every other way he needs to be a Doombot.
You think there's too much of a gap though in between like Fantastic Four and God Emperor?
If you're sending Doombots, no, because you can have the Doombots show up anywhere.
That's fair. That is true.
But it makes him truthfully feel like a final boss. You know what I mean? Like you don't know exactly when. Like you protect him from that standpoint. Because again, that's the complete opposite of what they did with King. King was the first one. They're like, "Oh, I'm the bad guy," and he's like, "I won. I'm Ant-Man." Like, no. That would be big if he does win, and you do get that timeline reset. Now, here's my question to that though, because I think this is inevitably going to be what people come to, and I know we're coming up on time. Is that going to be considered the MCU soft reboot, or is this kind of a phase 0 type of thing of where it's kind of an interim phase to where they're trying to ultimately finish that Secret Wars story?
It feels like a soft reboot because you can have events feel the same in certain ways and then still play out differently. Because, for example, it is inevitable, shout out Thanos, to recast Iron Man. You need an Iron Man, to be honest. You know, you need a Tony Stark. And in this way, you can still honor it of that Tony Stark died. RDJ's Tony Stark came and went. We're not touching that. This is its own thing. And then you can have that Tony Stark play alongside Chris Hemsworth if he's still Thor and if he wants to be. So you kind of have your cake and eat it as well, where you get new and old to play with each other and still tell a brand new story. Because that's honestly the best way I see them bridging that gap.
I like it. It'll be like their own little like ultimate universe.
Exactly. In a way, it could be the ultimate universe. Yeah.
The ultimate MCU.
Dude, guys, how
MCU plus.
nasty.
UMCU.
Oh, actually.
No, I MCU.
The MCU? Think about that though. I would absolutely respect the absolute hell out of the MCU if they went that route. Doom wins, they soft reboot, and they give us one movie or two movies. That's it. One movie and one Disney Plus show. Give us time, and you have a 2-year span where we get 4 projects, and then your full ultimate all new Marvel, whatever they want to call it, kicks in after they resolve it. And then we go on to the next with the recast and the new people, and the mutants are legit and everybody's from the same origin point. That would be so money.
Because in that way, you can that's also your way to kind of have a battle world.
Which I think we'd all love.
Yeah, they can either make it like a plane of reality that only Doom exists in, or they could just make it that universe and things are different, you know? Like you started off with like, I don't know, Captain America or something, and it's Sam Wilson or Steve Rogers, whoever they want. And at the end of that movie, they drop in a weird battle world version of something, just kind of putting out hints out there that Doom has his hand in everything, because that's ultimately how you make him feel bigger than Thanos and how you make him feel bigger than Kang, which is not hard to do. But, Thanos felt big because he killed half the universe, right?
True.
And Kang originally was going to feel big because he was everywhere. But if you have Doom really controlling everything from the get, again, like you said, he feels the big boss. He fills that role of he's the guy we have to beat. But Reed is out there trying to tell people that, and no one's listening to him. And the story that you tell throughout that new universe is Reed finding some way to get people to remember what happened if they're part of the old guard, or to convince people that are new that this happened. I'm not a crazy man. It's a nice way to bridge that gap, honestly.
But dude, listen, well, I just got to throw in one comment while you're cooking that up. Go back to the beginning of this live and all of these projects that we've been talking about of the Midnight Suns and building out the mystical and the street and the cosmic and the world, building these all out. So when you ultimately pull pieces very similarly to how they did with half of the Avengers that were left over, then you're satisfying that crossover thing. Reed plus an X-Men plus a Defender plus a street level plus, you know what I mean? Like, those are cool scenarios where you can justify having ragtag mixed up teams for the sake of the movie being Battle World or Doom World or something like that. Like, we have no other choice. It's our last resort type of thing. And you're just going to keep churning out money, if I'm being honest. 2 years of a Doom World Part 1, Part 2 or something like that, where they're trying to resolve this and get him off the throne. And he's been sitting there in our eyes for, what, 4 years at that point?
I got quick theory. Now that you brought up Doom having the ultimate hand in most things, what if he was the true one to set Loki on his path and give him those powers, because he knew that he would bypass the Kang and he remains eventually, and the green from Loki is a symbolism of Doom's green. But obviously he just thinks he just pointed that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And he needed that Loki to. Sorry, I forgot to explain the rest of the theory. And he needed that Loki to do what he did at the end of Loki 2 to truly have someone that's not He Who Remains to protect the sacred timeline. Because Loki might not know exactly where to look, since he doesn't have the full backstory.
Yeah.
Doom could be hiding behind that entire time. That would be a cool way to connect it.
I was going to say, because both Secret Wars have to do with the Beyonder, he could be looking for the Beyonder. And if they introduce him in Fantastic Four and they go missing because of time shenanigans or whatever, and that's how they want to play it, again, him having a hand in everything, like putting Loki where he's at, that'd be really good. That'd be a really good way to play it. And heck, what you can also do if they want is, because that's kind of Loki's prison, you can save Loki in the reboot. They find out about Yggdrasil and they're like, there's something out there that can break this, but it's a prison, but we don't know how to get there.
Yeah. The keys to that stuff could be outside of there. And that's why I'll still stick with this, that there may be a version of King that is on the side of the Avengers or the good guys. And one of them, whoever it may be, this last remaining Kang, I guess He Who Remains, which is haha. But where he was playing with everything could be, that's really Doom's only challenger. And what Kang has been trying to do this whole time is work his own little side mission to be like, I know what really is happening, right? They can still play that unknown factor up, and I think it goes back to what you guys were saying. You know, Doom ultimately kills Kang, but that'd be sick if there was a moment of like Kang's the one that gets served up the God Emperor first to really show everyone like, damn, like this guy's no joke.
Yep.
And just feed him the God Emperor.